Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. You're not expected to succeed on your first expedition. Heroes will die, failure will abound, and the world will seek to smother your flame. Take heart, do not relent. Press forward through the encroaching gloam and face your fears. Redemption, at last, can be found deep within the icy depths of the Darkest Dungeon. Yes. Whoa. Hey, what's up?
Hey, relax. Hey.
Buttons. Darkest fucking dungeon, man.
Oh, I see the two.
Two
In the D.
Two.
The two's in the D.
Two's right here.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the sequel to the original game that I loved a bunch of and got way in on. It's a great, like, definitely post-stream unwinder, you know? Turn-based and in-depth systems and fun combat, fun characters, amazing narration and atmosphere and lore that I just really click with. It's one of my favorite games. It was developed in early access for a while, and I had never gotten around to making any content for it, which, you know, bummed me out, but having just gotten through it recently, I figured I wanted to come and pop this in. I know the iron is not hot, and, you know, there's definitely a couple other cool things we're playing right now that I'm going to continue playing, but I want to do one to show off one of my favorite games, because this game is so fucking good if you haven't seen it or played it.
That's fair. Let's get into the trauma.
Yeah, I did have a thought about, like, I wonder if, like about introducing you to this, and, like...
I think we did, like, a tiny, like, 1 or 2 hour of the first one.
Okay, some time ago?
Yeah, on the old couch. Yeah.
Okay. I thought about it, but it's also one of those things where I do think it might be... I don't know if it's up your alley or not, and I also don't... I think like the amount of systems and things going on might be a bit much to just grasp off out of the gate. Even if I'm here to explain it, it might be like a bit like a Baldur's Gate situation of just like, oh, there's a lot going on. So I'm just gonna run through.
Oh, there's also a 2 in the mountains.
There's a 2 in the mountains. Yes, there are. In fact, you can look at that as
that one eluded me.
Indeed.
Somehow.
Let's check out the intro.
Jeez, light a candle, something. It's bad for your eyes.
Blackout curtains, bro.
You gotta open them. Oh my god. Don't bring your plates back in the kitchen, come on.
Hikikomori-dum.
Ruin has found you at last.
Shut the door!
My protege. My friend. Our calculations were correct. The ephemeral equation is unbalanced. The Earth spins on a strange and terrifying new axis. And everywhere, unbridled consequence.
Damn.
The world is a wasteland of failures past. And yet, you must ride out into it, unafraid. Take this. It is hope, the very last of it. It is yours now. You were bold once. Be bold once more. Free yourself from this suffocating stillness. Fix your gaze on the horizon.
I don't want to go outside.
And face the fearsome truth.
Oh god.
Get out of your room.
No!
Darkest dungeon.
It's so scary out
Clean
there.
your shit up.
Come on.
Go outside. Touch grass.
Oh!
Touch fucking grass, says the game. Shout out to Wayne June, the narrator voice. Took us through the entire first game and set the mood in a way that no one else really could. I feel like the summary in short is he was the narrator who was the ancestor in the original game, and big eldritch evil was afoot, and at the center of his you know, his curiosities. It was looking bad, and you tried to stop it, and you failed. So now the world is fucked.
We failed.
Have fun.
Okay.
We failed.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. I like failure.
It is your charge to manifest a vision of the sane Earth.
So every time you end a run, you come back to the Altar of Hope. And this is where you can spend your candles to rebuild the city, level up your characters, level up your stagecoach, do a couple different things. So in each area,
Study the winding roads and routes of our kingdom. Find any advantage.
you get different things you can level up to make your journey go a bit smoother, carry more things. You can get pets. You can affect your skill. These are just the cosmetics. You can make the game harder if you need it to be even more brutal than it already is. Right? If you beat the game, you can keep most characters die or like, you know, end with a run, and that's it. They're one and dones, but you can call them back. There's all kinds of cool things you can do.
Look to those who have known fear and failure in ample portion.
Leveling up your characters and builds, finding out how to expand, and yeah, it's great. It's great. So unlocking things, items, unlocking cosmetics, and then yeah, items you've gotten. So we're just gonna move on. It's a lot, but anyway.
That's fair.
Once more into the maelstrom, in search of what hope yet remains.
Onward.
Still in the coach.
God, his voice is so good.
Bro, there's no road. This is just pure darkness and evil.
You must face your failures, or be consumed by them.
Complete your confession.
So the intro is talking to you, the player, and also you. Your role in this is the academic. You were a student of his.
Okay.
And so when he's kicking open your door, knock knock, open up the door, it's ruined. Yeah, right. It's actually somebody who's in world narrative as well. And so you go through each chapter, facing your denial, resentment, obsession, ambition, and eventually cowardice.
I hereby acknowledge and accept the fullness and severity of my mistakes.
Indeed. Chapter 1.
You have cowered in your crumbling denial long enough.
Dude, this game is about failure.
The university's resources were impressive, and yet, on occasion, we relished in first-hand experience. The crossroads, a place between places.
So every time you run through that intro, you're going to get a little bit more explaining that chapter of the events that happened and what was going on before you hit the crossroads, before you can pick your characters at the corner of guilt, loathing, failure, regret, and disgrace. Good times!
Where are we going? Are we going towards failure or regret for now?
Okay. So, picking your characters in the original game, you'd have to hire them from the stagecoach. They'd come from outside. This time around, you can kind of just build the party and take a stab at it.
Oh, you can pick whoever you want?
You certainly can. And there's a lot of cool characters, and there's a lot of, you know, and you name them. You can change the cosmetics. You can unlock, you know, different weapons and things like that. And then there's a whole lot to each member's like move lists and positioning and things like that you kind of have to learn to work through. So the Flagellant is, as it mentions here, a good support character that is pretty good at healing, stress, and life, which are your two main like things you want to manage, but to avoid your character dying, right?
Yeah. But he's like a tank-ish?
But he can tank, exactly, and he hurts himself in order to heal others.
Okay.
or vice versa, you know? So, like, he has a skill set that's based a lot on... Yeah, these things are gonna, like, there's a lot of different icons and stuff, but the short version of it essentially is, like, yeah, you can whip yourself to, like, take the damage off of others onto you, you know? And, like, unlike any other character in the game, when he stresses out to the maximum, instead of becoming, like, having a meltdown or a 50-50 shot of becoming heroic, you know, he instead just becomes toxic. Which, like, anyone who touches him gets poisoned, and he stays alive, but, like, he's
Gets
just...
in the comments.
Exactly. He's
Okay.
he's going... He starts typing with one finger, you know? It's a really interesting class, yeah. And you can fine-tune it with, like, the paths as well with each class. So, yeah, here, let me...
that's a lot of flexibility.
There's a lot of flexibility.
So, like, 4 paths for this character? Do they all have, like, 4?
They all have 4 paths that
That's
you
a
unlock
lot of
at the Altar of Hope.
Okay.
And then not only do they have 4 paths that you pick from that, like, are different styles of play, but they have 8, 9, 10, 11 moves. You can only use 5 at a time, right? And you unlock each extra move by going to a Shrine of Reflection and going through their past.
Okay.
So when you would cover a chapter.
Remember in the other game we were seeing storylines.
It's mainly in this one, but, like, by going through their past chapter by chapter, you unlock a few more moves, and then those moves allow them to play in a more flexible way, which then feeds into the paths, and it's just it's awesome, you know. So whatever style you generally have for, like, what I mentioned of his overall thing, you can change that up if you want to go with a thing where you're like, you know what? This tells me that he's good in any rank against any targets, but if I put him... I can make a version of him that's, like, always going to be front rank.
Yeah, okay.
That's going to be, like, the guy that's going forward, and, like, he can play that role, but how effective is he going to be compared to some others, you know? So, yeah, it really changes, and it's dynamic for everybody, but you've got the Vestal, effectively another type of healer, the Nun. You've got the Occultist, summoning the dark arts, also backline support. Up front, the Leper, big chest, big burly breastplate, blind as fuck, can't hit for shit, but when he hits you, it hurts. My favorite version of a jester in anything. There's a lot of different, like, media representations of, like, you know, the clown, the jester type of thing. In this one, it's so sick. His style is basically one that slides around the ranks and can move himself forward or push others forward and reposition the battle. He kind of governs the placement, and, like, it's a big... You're sacrificing an entire unit to have someone that can move your team around, but he's so good at, like, getting you out of trouble in a lot of those situations. And he's also got... I haven't gotten all of his abilities yet, but Finale from the first game was a move that shoved him all the way to the front and then kind of, like, took out and attacked every rank, and it was great. It was great. So really fun class to play with. A new class for this game as well is the Runaway. This is a fire-based class, so her deal from there wasn't really burning in the previous game, but burning is now a state. She basically can spotlight enemies, increase the flame overall, and can kind of like poisoning, but burning over time does damage like that. Exactly, and she thrives in the back row. The Hellion,
back row.
Barbarian ass boss bitch, hits hard.
Yep, you're a fan.
Yep. Huge fan. Love it. Bleeds a lot. Can weaken herself over time. So anyone who's big and tough has like a downside to their big and toughness. But she's fucking awesome. Man-at-Arms, big burly guy, great at protecting others. You can set him to take the damage that others are going to take. The absolute go-to, the Highwayman. He can play anywhere. He can do anything. He's good to shoot. He's good to stab. He's good to counter. He's the best. The Grave Robber, really, really handy for self-healing and taking out corpses, which the enemies leave behind. And she's incredibly versatile as well with a lot of her... She has blight skills and stabbing skills and all that. And there's a particular way of playing her that I'm probably going to do today with one of her styles, which is just incredible at moving around and doing damage. And then the Plague Doctor, another class that can heal you from, burning, from bleeding, from blights, things like that, and generally poison the enemies. The healing is limited, whereas like the Vestal can pray and always heal you up for a certain amount depending on how much damage you've taken. The Plague Doctor can only use 3 heals per battle, so it's a soft healing class, but still everything's balanced against each other, So yeah.
When you look at their description,
sure.
The goal, does it change on every run?
The goal is based on... It does. Okay. It is a random goal that you're going to get with every run. And
that gives you candles.
And if you...
you can also select a path?
Exactly. So the default path will give you an extra candle if you reach the second in.
I see.
Or you can pick one of the other 3, and it'll be like, hey, a little less life, a little more blight resistance, so the enemies will not be able to resist your poisoning effects, and on top of that they do plus 10% chance of crit, and a ton of resistances, as you can see, are gained by trading it off the regular for the alchemist. So grooves, that's a lot. That's a mouthful, but the whole point is to just establish that there's a lot of versatility to it, and it's a lot of fun to go back in, mess around, and find your builds and find what works and what doesn't. So I don't know. Let's see. What do we want to do today? I can take a crack at it with a team I like to fuck around with.
Try to go as far as you can.
Yeah.
Through the failure.
So let's go with the Hellion front rank.
Beneath bloodlust and fury, there is emptiness and shame.
Dude, bars on bars. We're gonna go with... The skills I like here for her are... I'm going to keep Iron Swan. And I'm going to go with these 4. So, front rank can attack the back rank. Right? Usually some little mage coward type bullshit hanging back there. Get fucked. She has... if she gets moved out of the front rank, she has the ability to dash herself forward and attack anything in the first 3. And if she's also just standing around, she can swing really hard at the first 2. Doing any of these attacks generally makes her tired, which is that little like winded icon. So you have a healing, self-stress healing, and removing your tiredness. So we're going to go with that.
Okay.
I'm going to put you in, let's see. Yeah. Ravager. So, a little extra life, and if you're in the first rank, you do a little extra damage as well. But there's a chance you're going to self-bleed. Yeah, so there's a trade-off. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. She's going to bleed more often, and she's going to bleed on her own, but I'll take the damage for that.
And is like a resistance to piercing is also down? Is that what it said?
Yeah, so she loses 33% of her ability to make others start bleeding. Because every enemy has a resistance to each status effect. A big poisonous enemy.
It's your ability to pierce, not your resistance to pierce. Okay.
Exactly. There's a screen that'll sort of break down their stats once you get into the main game.
Okay.
Your name. Let's see. Roy Jacquera. Cartwright.
Roy Jackers, what?
Towel, Young, Bush, Tourmente. There's a lot of very old school France names, Let's see. Vance, that's alright. Granteville. Glass. I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How to get glassed?
She's the exact opposite. It's like calling a big man tiny. Glass him. Highwayman. Your skills. We're gonna go with these 5. You're going to take yourself from second slot to first slot. You're going to put armor up and counter anything coming at you. Remove anyone's ability to hide. And... Oh, wait, hold up. No, this is wrong. I want this one on, actually. Hold up. Yeah, okay, we're going to do this. Knife, swords, stealing, positive buffs, point blank shot if you're in front rank. Double cross. Let's go with that. Your name? Dismas is a great name, by the way. That's the name of the other thief that was on the cross next to Jesus. Pretty good. Let's go with... Acker is cool. I like that. Sound of that. Vane. Vane. I like Vane. Let's go with that. Yeah. Bright coat.
Brown leather.
Harried. A fugitive seeking to outpace the past.
Alright. Third slot. Let's get the grave robber in. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Your path. Let's go with rogue. So, wherever you are, you do a little more... The closer you are to the front, the more damage you do. The further back you are, the less damage you do.
Okay.
And one of your skills will give him the ability to get a counter, a riposte. So let's go with the rogue.
Interesting.
All right. Let's go with the grave robber. Let's get you in... Yeah. Knives out. Red coat. Well, you know what? I might color coordinate, actually. Let's color coordinate the team. Let's go red.
Avarice slips unseen into the catacombs of the mind.
Summers. Not Scott.
No relation?
No relation. Knives. Poison. Self-healing. Clear corpses for more self-healing.
Oh, yeah, it's true. The corpses would remain, right? On the
Corpses will remain, and it's important to take them out. Absolutely. Yeah, and let's get these two. So, lunge forward from the back, slide back from the front. Move around the battlefield. Versatile. And those two abilities in particular, when you go with Night Sworn, they get really powerful. So, plus extra damage when she's hidden, but you lose some life off the top. No problem. All right, Summers in there. And for backline support, yeah. So the healer, this can be versatile. I like the occultist. He's unreliable though. His healing will fucking... It's a dice roll. So sometimes you'll heal for 0. It sucks. We'll just have to... Well, we can go for like big luck rolls, or we can go for something a bit more sturdy, like the Flagellant or the Vestal. But in exchange, though, he has something that is really good. One of the final abilities you unlock with him, the Burning Stars, you prep it, but it does a ton of damage and it melts whatever row you pick. So, you know what? For today's sake, let's fuck around. Let's go with chance and see if the dice gods are good to us today. We're gonna put on the Weakening Curse, Chaotic Offering in order to improve our ability to get that curse out. And in case you get slid around and you need to stab from the front row, we'll go with that. Right? Okay. Yes, and we'll have you go to the Warlock path. A little less life, a little more damage on ranged skills, and every turn start is that little fist is gonna prep him one close step closer to his ultimate skill.
Okay.
We'll get a little tentacle action.
Oh.
Dark colors. Alhazred. Herseg, Stanley.
Eldritch Candles.
Harlan. Kaufman. Fucks. What the fucks? That's a... Yeah, sure.
This guy.
Sure.
To know the abyss, one must embrace it.
This guy.
What does he do? All right. So let's color coordinate everybody. Red up. Yeah. There we go.
Ready in red.
Let's see what we got. Took a second there to break down everything, but
The Valley.
You came here seeking solace, but found stagnation instead.
so this is where you can kind of see your characters in more detail. This is where the moves you picked are. You can move change between battles. You can switch up the moves, but not in battle.
Okay.
But before a battle, I can change up my moves. You know.
After the first round, you can be like, "Oh, this didn't work well."
Yeah, and that's and the synergy of how they work together. You know, that's also very important because things will affect how good your moves are later on. One of those things, for example, is the relationship you have with everybody. So right now we're all kind of neutral with each other, if not slightly less than. If your relationship goes way up, certain moves will call out to like, so if two characters are amorous, you'll do a move and they'll actually like say like a nice line to each other, and that'll cause a buff, or sometimes a double attack, you know, and so on. Like you can motivate and fight together. In which case you then want to lean into picking a skill that causes that to happen. Or if you hate each other, certain moves will cause the others to get jealous, and it'll fuck up your party synergy. Exactly. So you want to think about the relationships as well. In addition to that, you've got a quirk. So everyone has a positive and negative quirk they start with, which is random every time you start the game. So when he gets damaged, there's a 15% chance that he's going to be blinded on his next turn. You know, like there's a lot of little variables that you twist and turn with. And then of course here you were asking a little earlier, your resistances to bleed, blight, burn, stun, getting moved, getting debuffed overall, getting diseased, or dying. When life hits 0, you don't actually die. You enter death's door. You have to be hit on the magic pixel and lose a roll to die.
I see.
Yeah. And so that's what you kind of break down for every character. And then you can also give them little trinkets, which I don't have any to put on them right now, but these customize them further, and then you can give them combat skills in fighting that are customizable as well. So again, we're going on a bit, but let's just get into it. Oh, damn it. Wow. Buttons, sorry. I have my mouse set up to have my shortcuts.
Comforts are exhausted. Ahead, only trial and tribulation. The bulwark of your denial is giving way.
All right. Little intro fight here. Iron Swan, the Widow in the back row.
Let us take a closer look at the thing, as repulsive as it is.
You can zoom in and kind of see a bit about them. In a lot of cases, if you've never fought them before, there's going to be question marks here. All right, you pull her forward. Ooh, she resisted. Go forward 1 rank.
Ain't going nowhere.
Get a counter.
Stupendous.
Boom. Spent one of my counters. Riposts. Here comes another one. And dead. That's what he's good at.
Results are encouraging.
Back off.
And then he's got afflicted with horror, so he's going to take some stress damage every turn.
And he's at 1 dot.
Messy, but effective.
But effective. And yeah, this is a team where the rows are just moving around. Get in there. And damage.
A righteous action. Though unpleasant in the extreme. This work is noble and necessary.
So, we got some trinkets and baubles. We have less healing, more crit. I want you to crit hard. I also want you to crit hard, but you can self-heal. So, more crits. There we go. And then this is just cash.
Spend that cash later. Like at main stops or something.
Yep. Our light is already at 52. And here's our first in.
The fire is lit. The table is set. The inn awaits its favorite guests.
Every inn is different and has a different buff or build thing that it can give you. So this particular one is the Torch in the Crown. It gives full heal, -1 stress, and a lower chance of positive or negative relationships occurring overall. Got 2 candles for getting here, though. So now we sit around the campfire, we take a minute to take a load off. Everyone's pretty healed up, no one has any stress, so we don't have to worry about too much. I did get one of these, which is going to allow one of my characters to be faster. Right, so that's speed overall. There's a lot to explain. I'm going to try to not overdo it overall. The point, I just want to, I'm just talking to the audience as well, in case they're, curious about what things are. So, so I'm going to give this +4 to my slowest member. So you're at 4, you're at 5, you're at 7, you're at 5. You could use it to act faster, and that's for 1 route. Everything else is looking pretty alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is see what's coming up next.
Consider your position and plan accordingly.
The sprawl and the tangle.
Yeah. We can hit up the fire or the forest. Both of these are places where we can probably... So you have to kill a boss in order to make it to the end of the game and to make it to the end of the chapter and complete and fight the final boss of the chapter. The sprawl boss is one that I can handle with this team, so if we see it, we'll go for it, but it's risky if it's right away. In general, this time around, there's a random debuff, so we're gonna have -20 bleeding resistance. If we avoid the watchtower, we'll make a mastery point out of it, so let's go.
Another nameless city. Another inferno of mutilation and madness.
Alright. Secondly...
Experience, however painful, is the greatest teacher of all.
We're gonna level up our moves. So every move has 2 tiers. The one you start with, and then the powered up version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna level up Duelist Advance. This adds 3 ripostes instead of 2. Very fucking useful. I'm gonna level up the healer's ability to heal us. So now it's gonna go from 0 to 50% instead of 0 to 33%. And then I've got points to spare. I'm not used to having this many points right off the bat, so let's just power up your basic attack so that it hits for 10 minimum, which is massive. For you as well, you sliding around, doing good damage. Let's turn this to minimum 6 to 12.
5% more crit.
And then we are going to buff up point blank shot, which is someone's getting fucking bopped.
Bang.
For minimum 10 as well. There we go. Shout out to the mastery trainer. She looks awesome. Ostensibly, that's who's teaching you how to fight.
Pretty badass.
All right. Then I'm gonna hit up the provisioner.
Conventional fare, but fairly priced.
So a couple of different things you can grab.
What do you
There's I've people have asked before. There's no shame in grabbing the Radiant Flame. This is basically an item that, like, the game is brutal. Things die. You have multiple failure runs, so you have like a counterbalance point, which is this thing gives you benefits and makes it easier to, like, as you can see, get crits or lose traveling flame, but you build less candles, right? So there's a compensator for it, and like each time you fail, it increases its level up 1. So yeah, by all means, fucking do it. You can also pick different kinds of pets, and I like the snake, which increases our ability to heal between each location. Yeah, and so then we've got a couple of different healing items we can go with here. So right off the bat, we've got 55 baubles. This is this thing, if you equip more medical gear, you're going to have more healing on your team. So the first thing I try to do is find if there's any medical gear. Here we are. Here's one. Attach this to the stagecoach. You produce more restorative items, so that'll increase our healing overall. That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Shrine of Reflections, usually good, but I think I have everyone on this team's full story already, so I don't really need it. Otherwise, I'd go with that, because the backstories are some of the funnest parts of this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, since we're going into the fiery area, let's see if we have any. We don't have any fire treatment tools with us. That's fine. I'll just
no water.
No. There's burn salve is usually what you can bring with you. Since we don't have any of that, and this is, I can't afford it right now, but a little bit of flame resistance. I'll just buy some increase the flame on the stagecoach items, and let's see, maybe a little bit of this. Yeah, some milk-soaked linen to not be blinded. That's an annoying status effect that can happen from time to time. I think we'll be okay otherwise. Shouldn't be too rough. Basics. I will give her the milk-soaked linen. You act first every turn since I increased your speed. So if someone needs it at the beginning of the round, you can dish it out. And then, you know, you can keep everything lit up when it gets dark.
The next stop is leagues away. Plan accordingly.
Yeah, ready to go.
Okay, let's see. Alright, let's attach our snake. Once you put it on, you can't take it off.
Unremovable.
Let's
Sell your cart. Sell your coach now.
medical gear and the Radiant Flame. The name of our card is The Last Hope. And we can change our aesthetics a little bit. Let's go with let's go with this one.
Looks like a circus coach.
Yeah, alright. Let's go with this one.
Alright.
Guy Fieri flames are always a possibility as well. That's true. We're going into the fire, so let's blend in. We're one of you guys.
Go. It's about the destination.
Alright, I think we're just about set up to go. For now, we should be fine. So, I hope it's a little self-evident and obvious why I'm like, I haven't just unleashed you on this. As you can see, every screen
There's a lot of stuff to
is
read.
filled with tons of little
And
details.
you know this item, you see it, okay, you know what it does, you can move on. I'm like, yeah.
It would, and it took about 40 minutes to just get so.
That's fair.
Right? Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's rest for the night and journey onward. So this screen, is cool. They added this where
That's new, right?
you just kind of like look at what's coming next. We're heading to Flavor Town, as Stash said earlier. And this is where you'd see the relationships formed between your characters. So you'd find out about how they feel about each other and like the buffs and debuffs you're going to get from that. The calm before the storm.
I hate you. I'm not gonna enjoy this trip.
They talk shit. They literally do at the bottom of the screen, like as you roll on.
Behold, the great
God protects
cities
us.
of man, ruined and aflame.
So, this is us. And let's see what we got up ahead. Combat. Got a hoarder. Watchtower. Don't know what that is. Each of these is going to take away from either our wheels or our armor. So you got to sacrifice stuff to move forward. We got a study. Unknown with some candles. Got a boss fight over here.
But do you want that smoke?
Oh, wait. On chapter 1, I think you don't need it. Oh, yeah. I think... Well, we can see. Let's roll there for now. And then, yeah, a little exclamation means something has updated with your character. In this case, usually, I guess it would be a condition as you entered. So... yeah, let's just clear that.
Okay. Let's hope your wheels don't fall off.
I think we'll be okay. Alright. So, as we get into the pace of the fight, I'll stop explaining as much and just kind of do it.
Yeah. Shot in the face? Damn, that's brutal.
Fuck him up.
Cheap.
Light Sprite. Ah, that should have killed.
It did not.
Pull him forward and clear the corpses at the same time. No!
Oh no.
What a whiff.
Damn, your rolls are being iffy right now.
It's fine. It wasn't a critical moment. These guys are going to take extra damage, and I buffed up this ability from the inn last time, so this should be pretty fucking good.
A resounding response.
I'd say so. Bam.
A petty hindrance.
And finish it off.
Looking kind of clean.
Nicely done, fucks.
I do what I
The
can.
flame burning brightly for all the world to see.
Yeah. Pose. Now run those Jordans. Coming for you, Guy Fieri.
Where we pass, run. Destruction.
He struggles to decide what is real, holding back fits of laughter and tears.
What you got, Hoarder?
Yeah. Couple things for sale.
Yeah, some old bottles to return to the store.
Right. Some cans. Playing cards are pretty good. 75% chance of making your party like each other. 25% chance of making them hate each other. Some people are really salty.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, especially when the cards are marked and someone's cheating.
Right? So let's grab some of those. Ah,
Feel
burn
icy over
salve. Here we go. Heal 10 and remove the burning status, right? If you get roasted, then we got some salve for you. And I'll leave it at that for now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we need anything else. Saving your money can prove very useful later on. Let's...
Bunch of hot topic jewels.
Yeah, we're good for now. Let's give that burn salve over to Fucks. And let's move on our
He's
way.
gonna need it.
Yeah. Probably. Weak little weasel of a man. Bah! So then we pick what comes next. So yeah, the steering, the cart game here, as you can see, It used to be a lot more annoying because you had to manually steer left and right and stuff, and now you just kind of pick which location you want to head towards.
Okay, that's clearer.
Yeah, and you still steer, but like it automatically moves forward. Before you had to WASD or like D-pad it, and now I have it just set to just roll on its own.
At least we know what's coming.
And then you can, if you want to, you can just kind of move towards little things here. You might get an item, you might not, but it's very minor.
Stuck in a coach with the likes of you.
They're not. Yeah, every time it's blue, it's negative. Gold's positive.
Okay.
All right, Watchtower, what do you got for us?
Drink won't be enough to wash this view out.